Hey, hey, audience out there. We are
Whoop, whoop.
going live in just a second here. We'll give it a couple seconds.
Hi, Doug.
Hey, hey, hey. Yes, exactly. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we are here every Wednesday night on Hump Day. This is episode 503. I'm your host, Stevie, alongside Kodi Maurice Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. We're going to have a great night tonight.
We really are. We have so much to get into on this episode. I can't wait. And one of the things I love to do is when you guys talk back to us related to past topics, and on our YouTube channel, AckNix3167 wrote in saying, "Guess I agree on most of what you said about Roisin Murphy's story, except that she's been managing herself for two or so years now. Nobody's taking her phone away," laughing out loud. That was a reference to what I said about we need to take these artists' phones away. And the comment was made on some private Facebook profile. But regardless, this study on blockers, meaning transgendered children and blockers, you quoted, has been taken apart thoroughly before, and let's just say the science isn't quite so clear. And I assume they wrote, you just took what the Guardian review already stated, so a big gray zone there, and people are painting her as some villain or crossing the line. I agree, though. She's an amazing artist, and shame to see the new album tainted with this debate. Crazy people on both sides, to be honest. And I agree with you, and thanks for writing in. I actually love the new album and have been playing it. Roisin Murphy's new album. It's not tainting my listening experience on what she had actually said. So there is
Yeah.
that.
Good.
Um, Moving on to a comment that just came in actually today on an episode 502, where we were talking about a study about open marriages. You were on the show, Kodi,
I was.
and this person wrote into us and said on Instagram, I thought I had I'll read their handler in just a second, but they wrote, "This was such a great episode. I so enjoyed the conversation, the sharing, the feeling, the learning. When you guys were sharing about open relationships, a lot of my healing is about releasing conditioning of how we think and feel, etc., from either our childhoods or society. And the releasing conditioning comes up a lot with working with my clients too. So this is what the type of work they do. The goal is to
Mhm.
find out who we are and act authentically, which is what Lincoln was saying. I so appreciate the conversation you all had. Thank you
Yes.
guys. That was really great what they had stated. Let me see if I could find their handle for a second. That came from at John or John G Healing on
Yes.
Instagram. So we appreciate that. And I love it when you guys talk back to us. That's one of my favorite things. Isn't it one of your favorite things, Cody? And by the way, how
Oh,
you doing?
yes. Hey, boo. Yeah. Yeah. When I saw it, they tagged me too. And I thought it was an amazing comment. I talked back to them. I commented on their comment. There was a discourse, and I love that. I love being able to talk to everybody that listens to us and really get their opinion. And I think it's great. I opens my mind, opens everybody's mind, and that's what this world should be about, right?
Absolutely, definitely, 100%. Okay, well, we have so much to get into on this episode, including starting with Gus Kenworthy. Many of you might know him. He is a former freestyle skier. He competed in the 2014 Winter Olympics. And also, as of 2019, he represents Great Britain. So he's super successful, but he's always in the news. And did a recent interview, and in the interview, one of the quotes that came out of it was that I'm a very, very sexual person. We'll get into that in just a second, but
Oh.
here's his whole quote that we'll dissect in a second. He says, "I don't think I have the perfect body. I have absolute body dysmorphia, the same that every gay person does. There are moments where I'm like super happy with how my body looks and I'm being stricter about what I'm eating and better with my training. And then there are the moments where I'm not feeling good about it. And the way that Instagram works is that that's probably not the time I'm going to post a photo. So it creates this kind of distorted version of reality. And in terms of being viewed as sexual, I don't care. I'm flattered and fine with it. I'm a very, very sexual person and I'm very open about it. I love this, Kodi, on what he stated because I can relate to a lot of it. I think many of
Mhm.
us can relate to a lot of it. I think he was right on when he said the whole thing about our gay men in general have body dysmorphia in general. I think that's so true.
Yeah.
I have had it for years as a former go-go dancer, a former gymnast. I have, you know, thought of one side of my body and how what I'm portraying out there, and then internally beaten myself up about, oh, I don't like where my body is right now. And I know a lot of people probably think, oh, please, you look great. And people can tell you that, but if you're not comfortable with it, it doesn't matter. But the thing
It
about
falls
it
on
is,
deaf ears.
right, where I'm at now, I think, is I realize kind of where Gus is stating that there's going to be times when you feel better about your body and not. And when you're not feeling as great, it's like, fine, accept it and enjoy. There's times when I just want to eat what I want to eat and I'm not training as hard. And I like that about myself. I embrace that about myself. And so I've come to a place now where it's like, yep, this is me now. How about you?
Oh, I hear you. Let's get a pizza. I think this is great. I think for somebody like Gus to come out and say that he has insecurities about his body and really normalizing that mindset, it's really, really amazing because, I mean, look at him. He is lusted after by countless gays, countless girls lust after him, and he has a great body. He's an Olympian, for Pete's sake. So, but that even he has times where he is insecure with who he is and what his body looks like is very telling that it's more than just a gay men's issue. I feel like it's a human experience that people go through because our social media, the media period, and society really has told us what we are supposed to look like and what is deemed beautiful and who doesn't want to be beautiful. So I think that I agree with you 100%. Give yourself some grace. Say that my body is my body and I am a human being living in this existence, living in this skin right now, and really just keep it pushing.
I totally agree with you. And let's be honest, when you're of a certain age, younger, it's really easy to keep your body nice and tight and right. When you're an athlete, like he
Yeah.
was for so many years, you are training ad nauseum throughout the day. You're eating right. And so it's that much easier to keep your body. Once you move into a certain period, 40s, 50s, and on, it's the body changes. And that's the lesson that myself and many of us have learned, that the body actually changes and you can work your ass off. You have to even work harder if you want to
Yeah.
really be lean and mean and all that stuff and try and compete, and who wants to do all that? And so I think I really appreciate when somebody like Gus, who's in the public eye, who's in our public eye, and I'm talking about LGBTQ plus world, says the truth that he experiences, because it will really resonate with us and have an impact on how we all view ourselves. I think it's more people like him need to speak their minds. There's a couple comments coming through, and then we want to talk about the other side of what he had said, but read some of those comments.
Bryce says that he has horrible body dysmorphia, and Bryce, we love you and we think you're beautiful. And then he goes on to say the body changes, however, our sexual appetites often heighten. And I think that that kind is very telling because, like you said, the body changes as you get older, but certain things you get better with age. So I think that as long as you accentuate the positives, then it will be golden, and you got to keep that right mind frame. Doug goes on to say, I've been dealing with it my whole life. Their biggest, they were 350, and now they're down 62 pounds as of this morning. Congratulations, Doug. That's so
Congratulations. Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Gus
And
goes on to say, was there something else?
oh, Bryce just says that he's proud of Doug.
Nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Gus also goes on to say, in terms of being viewed as sexual, I don't care. I'm flattered and fine with it. I'm a very, very sexual person. I'm very open about it. And that part I really also appreciate too, because I think that admitting we are in a really good space right now. I feel there's a lot of crap going on in the world, Kodi, but
Mhm.
sex positivity, I feel, has come to a really good pinnacle point, and I hope it continues to grow. Where people, even in my personal life, I'm more comfortable talking to my female counterparts, my friends about my sexuality, not
Mhm.
the nitty gritty of what I did last Saturday night.
I
That's
mean, tell
saved
me.
for this show. But but you know what I'm talking about. Just things about being a sexual person and actually having sexuality. I feel we are in a really good pinnacle moment that is great. And for him also to embrace that and put that out there, I think that's really great. Any
Oh,
thoughts on that? Or
oh, for sure. I think that what you said is 100 absolutely true. And I think that Gus's privilege as who he is, an Olympian, we can go down the list, but he has a lot of privilege, and I feel like by him stating that he's a sexual person and he's a gay man, this is going to open a lot of doors for people and open a lot of people's minds. I was saying earlier about this discourse helps us open minds, and I think that that is what Gus is doing, and I'm so proud of him. If he wants to get sexual with me, call me boo, okay?
I love it.
Yes.
Switching 180 degrees to a MAGA campaigner who stood before her local legislature to make a tearful, unsubstantiated claim that a faraway LGBTQ plus community center is teaching kids to use sex toys. Well, you just got to hear it. And we have it here for you. Let me just play it for you and we'll discuss.
Hello, my name is Erin Mazzoni, and my address is on file. I just moved here from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Hearing what this person just said really upsets me because our entire community up north fell apart. It was like watching a bad car accident for 3 years straight. It started out as pride coming in, and I thought everything would be okay. I was totally fine with them having and doing what they wanted under the laws. And it ended with a rainbow room where 8 to 12-year-old kids were given butt plugs and dildos and trained. They just got a city grant for $650,000 to be able to do more training on the children. It was horrendous. I have asked my friends there if it's getting any better. Every single one of them are leaving. And it is a very good tax base. These conservatives are good tax base people. It was absolutely horrible to watch. You think that you're doing things based on laws, but you are doing things and you are led.
Get your mic, baby. Get your mic. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yep, you're good. Go.
Okay. I was saying that this is totally ridiculous that I mean 100% ridiculous that there's no substantiated comments that she actually any of this occurred, and come to find out actually she is a campaign manager for a mayoral candidate of a mega mayoral candidate, and
Of course she
so
is.
all of this is made up. But her drama, she deserves some sort of award, because what I was saying. I don't think you could hear me. It was like, Kodi, we started this show 6 years ago, and I just wanted everybody to be able to be sex positive and to take a dildo up the ass, but
Let's give out the butt plugs, okay? I know, right?
some of the comments have gone viral, like, who's giving out butt plugs and dildos? I mean, it's so made up.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Girl, these white women tears are sending me. This is so fake, number one. I thought it was an SNL sketch. I was like, Kristen Wiig looks a little different over there. I was like, wait a minute now. It's just insane. Butt plugs and dildos to kids? First of all, if you're a parent and somebody gives your child a butt plug, I think that is your fault, and you need to really reassess your morals and values and things of that nature.
But
And
nobody was doing this, by the way. Nothing's been
nobody was doing
substantiated.
this. Yes, oh, I cannot. This is too much for me. This lady is a liar and a manipulator. Her tears were a manipulation. And then did you hear at the end, she was like, we pay so much money in taxes. Manipulation. She's trying to
Yes.
manipulate the people into doing what she says, because she pays a lot of money to the county. It's clear manipulation tactic, and she's a horrible person.
Yes.
She needs a
100%.
psychiatrist. And somebody give that bitch a dildo, okay? All right, because she needs it.
I love it. Okay. I know we have some comments there before we move on, but we
Yeah.
had to play that for you. What are people
It was
saying?
great. I'm sorry. That was the funniest thing I've seen all week. So Alan goes, what the WTF does she mean that these are good tax-based citizens? That's what I said too. He goes on to say, I guess we are bad tax-based citizens. I know, right? Our gays pay their taxes too. So are we bad now? What's going on? So I love that, Alan. Thank you so much. And Doug goes on to say, she's making those of us in Pennsylvania look bad. And I know where Bucks County is, and I know all about Pennsylvania. I used to live close to there.
Wow. Okay, well, it's time for a segment called Holding Them Accountable.
Ooh.
And, yep, we're holding them accountable. And recently in New York City, police arrested 2 more over that Stonewall Pride flag vandalism. You remember the thing during Pride? They had all these flags up in the park right there in the monument in Christopher Park. And they've arrested 2 more. Last month, Patrick Murphy of Colorado was arrested after turning himself into police. And video of the incident that took place on June 10 showed 3 men. However, they were destroying all the flags. Well, they've arrested 2 more. Authorities said Charles Hyder, 25, of Manhattan, on Tuesday in connection to the attack. And on Wednesday, Jackson Randall, 24, of Boston, was also arrested. And this is all according to Gothamist. But both arrests occurred in Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village.
That's my new drag name, Greenwich Villain. Yes.
I love this. I know. I think this is really awesome and really cool. Also moving over to Orlando, where suspect was arrested in the vandalism at 2 Orlando LGBTQ centers. Police have arrested a suspect in connection with the vandalism at 2 LGBTQ plus community centers in Orlando. Orlando officers Wednesday arrested Matthew Michael Robinson, who's 34. The police department announced on Twitter he is charged with 3 counts of criminal mischief. He defaced 2 actual LGBTQ centers with graffiti saying gay is not right, and also some Nazi symbolism as well, which was not okay. And also Save the Children. Well, arrested and happy to report on that as well. So this is really good news. However, in Manchester, there's a gay adult store that has been vandalized for the fifth time since March, and police in the UK are asking for the public's help in identifying the owner of a motorcycle seen on video taking part in an attack on a gay shop on Sunday. And they believe it's the same motorcycle used in a nearby identical attack since last May against Clone Zone, a gay adult bookstore and novelty store in Manchester. The store has been attacked 5 times in total since March, and police believe that the attacks are related. I'll post this one on TAGSPodcast.com, and if you're in the Manchester area, say something,
Be
because
safe.
take note of Orlando and NYC. This is not okay. You will be held accountable. CCTV and cameras are all over this city. You will be held accountable. And it's just very satisfying to know that I think it sends a message, Kodi, that you can't get
Mhm.
away with this shit. And it's interesting at a time when what do you call that? Smash and grab is at
Yeah.
an all-time high, where they can't seem to catch these people in certain parts of, say, California, where they're vandalizing Macy's and other parts of Oakland and getting away with hundreds of thousands of dollars of merch. And
Mm.
yet that can't seem to be controlled. But it is satisfying to know that the authorities are looking out for our community.
Yes, finally. And I'm happy about it. First, can I comment on the the writing on the wall that this man put on there? Nazi symbols and save the children, and that make it make sense. What kind of children are you saving? I don't understand it. I think that this is unhinged, and I'm glad that, like you said, our community is being protected, and it really sends a message that violence towards the LGBTQ plus community will not be stood for, and that there are repercussions to these actions. And you really have to think twice about before you attack us or attack or vandalize the flag or what have you, because things are going to happen that you may not like. You're going to go to jail. And I'm really sad about the vandalism that happened in Manchester. And I want all those people to be safe, and while still standing in their truth and living their most authentic lives.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move over to ride sharing. You know, we all take Uber, Lyft. Well, on Monday, RuPaul's Drag Race UK Choriza May, I love that Choriza,
It's so good. It's
took to
hilarious.
Twitter to report that an Uber driver drove off from her after seeing that she was in drag. And the incident took place during one of the London's Fashion Weeks, one of the shows, on Tuesday, September 19th. And in a post, Choriza May wrote, "Just a bit of homophobia to finish off Fashion Week. This Uber driver just saw me in drag and canceled the trip right in front of my face, then drove off. Just lovely," they wrote. This behavior, according to Uber, in an official statement, said is not okay, and Uber has a zero tolerance approach to any type of discrimination. Any driver found to have behaved in this manner will be removed from Uber platform. Please DM us your account to detail so we can investigate. This is coming off the heels of competitor Lyft now lets women and non-binary riders request their driver's gender. I actually think this is really good. Lyft just introduced a new feature that lets women and non-binary riders choose a preference to match with drivers of the same gender. The ride-hailing company said it was a highly requested feature in a blog post Tuesday, saying the new feature allows women and non-binary people to feel much more confident in using Lyft and hopefully encourage more women to sign up to be drivers to access its flexible earning opportunities. The service is called Women Plus Connect, is rolling out in the coming months. Riders can turn on the option in the Lyft app. However, the company warns that it's not a guarantee that they'll be matched with a woman or non-binary person if one of those people aren't nearby. I love what Lyft is doing, always on the cusp, and I hope Uber is stepping up to the plate for our community What are your thoughts on any of this? And are you a fan of Chorizo May?
Oh,
And
I love choriza. Okay. I love chorizo. I love choriza. I love it all. No, she's amazing. She's hilarious. And this Uber driver really missed out because they could have got their life because she's very, very funny. And I'm really proud of Uber because it seems like they're doing their due diligence in my eyes as far as making sure that everybody is equal and there's no discrimination that's going on. Part of me questions whether or not, if it wasn't a famous drag queen, whether or not their response would have been so quick. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm keep my little side eye out on them for right now, and that's really amazing. I'm so happy that they did that. And as far as Lyft goes, I think that this feature is way overdue, and I'm glad that they're finally implementing it. But I do also think that they need to go a little bit further with it and to make sure that everybody is safe because there have been so many attacks on women and non-binary folks that should not be happening. And I really think that Uber should follow suit as well, like you said. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's scary now getting into some of these cars. And this was London. We've had stories in New York, and these are not remote parts of the world. So you would think that it's okay. But yeah. So yeah, we had somebody
Yeah.
ask us a question, and yes. Alan says Lyft and Uber need safe drivers for kids too. Put parents at ease. Oh, good point. I like that too. Yeah. I mean, we forget that this is all relatively new technology that's come
Yeah.
our way. And I was so a couple of things, because I've spent a lot of time in Puerto Vallarta as of recent. People are like, did you move there? Is that your second home? I'm like,
Kinda.
And by the way, you can still get up to $200 off and join us in Puerto Vallarta for the Vacaya Mexico Resort from October 29th through November 5th. Just use our promo code TAGS, TAGS, get up to $200 off. The link is on our website, TAGSPodcast.com, and we really want to see some of you there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would love to see so many.
Yeah,
of you
we're going to
there.
be live with this show on Wednesday, November 1st. It's going to be so much fun. Just got the camera. We're figuring it all out. But back to Puerto Vallarta, one of the positives things about Puerto Vallarta is that Uber is so cheap to get from one place. Like, we're in an area that is closer to the airport, but to get to the Zona Romantica, where the gay area is, it's about a 10-minute ride, maybe longer. And honestly, I can say it's super cheap. It's like $6. Where can you do that in any major city? On the other hand, when we've gotten into a car before where the guy was like driving recklessly. So it's like, not so this is all new technology. And so you got to look out for all of that. Kodi, you keep working on that person that wants to ask a question, and we're hoping that they'll come live to ask us. But in the meantime, we have a topic that we can move on to that I'm really excited to get to. Recently, Australia, and we love our Australian audience, the government actually warned dating apps over unsolicited news. Dating websites and apps that operate in Australia have been warned by the Australian government that if they do not do more to protect their users from online sexual violence, and including sending unsolicited news, then the government will have to pursue legislative solutions to the problem. And research from Australia Institute of Criminology released in October of 2022 found that 3 out of 4 people using dating apps on the websites in Australia experienced some form of sexual violence via those platforms in the 5 years to 2021. And the definition, you may ask, of online sexual violence includes sexual harassment, abusive or threatening messages, the sending of unsolicited sexual images, and stalking. A national roundtable on online dating safety convened in January by the Ministers for Communication brought together industry heads. And what did they find? Well, one of the results of that roundtable was a commitment to develop a voluntary code for the industry to improve engagement with law enforcement, supporting at-risk users, and improving safety policies and practices. I like this. I like where it's going. They are giving a warning, Kodi, to the apps that unless they take measures, they are going to step in. And I think it's a little bit more, we don't, in this country, we have a huge problem when government steps in the mix, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like that Australia is looking out for its people. And I think in our country, we would have a problem with, oh, no government involvement in the apps. It's Big Brother. We don't want any of that. And on the other hand, we would also accuse our government of, don't you have anything better to do? But when we are seeing lives being taken away, and we report on this show one too many times of things gone wrong, awry with people meeting people on the apps,
Yes.
I'm not mad the way Australia's government is threatening to take action. And I think they're
Yes.
just saying you need to implement you need to develop your apps a little bit better that look out for your people.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. I am a person that takes unsolicited dick pics. So, I mean, if you see me on the app, you could just send it my way. I'm just putting that out there for the world to hear, because so this wouldn't really apply to me, but I know that it really affects a lot of people, and especially a lot of women. They don't want to have those things flooding their inbox, and so it just becomes too much. And I'm glad that Australia is really taking charge of that and saying that this is not okay, and really coming to terms with it and applying it. So yeah, the apps need to be more responsible. I know that there's a feature on Grindr and maybe on Scruff too, where it says whether or not you accept not safe for work pics, but they need to take it a little bit further and really make sure that those types of things aren't going to the people who don't want to see them. Again, I am not one of those people. Please send me a dick pic or a butt pic or what have you. I'll take it all. Okay.
Love it. Great
right.
insight. Where are we with our?
We are going to bring
Our
him to the
new
wing
segment.
right now.
So we have a new
And-
segment where you can actually ask us a question. If you ask us a question on our live show, we want to bring you to the main stage and ask it in person so we could really give some real insight. And I believe we are bringing up to
invited
the
him.
stage Bryce. And
He's just going to come to the wing, no video.
no video. Okay, great. That works. And we just want him to ask the question and we will give our advice.
So come
Is
on
he
up,
there?
Bryce. He has to approve it, and then he will be in the wing. And
And in the meantime, we love giving unsolicited advice to you. The best way to is DM any one of us on the show. I am _Stevie on Instagram, or Kodi at at Mr. Maurice.
yeah, the
DM
first
him
one.
there, or just go to the website, TAGSPodcast.com. Contact us there. I always see those emails, and you can write to us and ask us relationship, sex advice, and we are there for you. We love doing that, and it's really rounded out our show. So thank you so much for that. How we doing?
He says it's loading.
It's loading. I love it. Cool.
Yeah.
And one thing I keep pushing is, if you like what you're hearing, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It only helps spread the word and helps us get the show further to other people. So leave us a rating and review, if it's 5-star on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it, and it helps us do really well. So yeah, Love it.
Cool.
And
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay. So it seems to not be loading
Well,
that quickly.
I'll ask a couple questions.
Okay.
Malibu asked the question: How proud are you of getting to 500? You know what? Thank you for that question. Very proud. Numbers are numbers. I think in the end, we do 2 shows a week now. Kodi and I have a new show in the works. I just happened to notice that, oh my gosh, we're hitting 500. But the show has changed dramatically over the years, and I think to be really honest, my core goal is to put a really good show together, whether it's Tags Podcast or Tags Live, and a lot of it is based on what's going on in the world of the moment. So we really produce these shows the day before, day of. We're working these stories. We have a lot of stories we never even get to because they just don't make it. And so that's just to give you a little insight on what goes into it. We really want to do a show that is producing the topics of today in gay sexuality, but also is revealing insight into our own sexuality. And that's that fine balance that I think we're always not struggling with, but teetering on. But it's a lot of fun, and I love it. So yeah, thank you for that question. Kodi, how are we doing? Because we could always move on to another topic.
It doesn't look like it's loading. Yeah.
And Alan says your show is like catching up with my gay besties.
Oh, thank you.
You know what? We can always read what he had wrote.
And I want to hear his voice.
It's not loading? Okay. Yeah. We could do our next topic and try a little bit more, and then...
Okay, let's do the next topic, and then if it works, it works. If not, then we can just read the question.
Okay, sounds good. Keep in mind, Google Chrome Bryce is the one to use. If you're not using Chrome, it doesn't really work. Okay. Gay guys list recently the aspects of gay porn that turn them off. Okay, this was really fun. Game porn directors break all legal paths because essentially, a recent Reddit thread asked the question, what turns you off on gay porn? And you could imagine a lot of the things that we read, a lot of it had to do with socks. Guys wearing socks. Feet are very... Somebody wrote, I mean, for me personally, because I have a feet fetish, but... somebody wrote, feet are very expressive, one person argued. Another person begged a different, though. The socks make it relatable. Okay, well, not for me. And then this was hilarious. When the guy looks so similar that you don't realize it was a flip fuck. In other words, they look so much alike. You know, we're not going to name names on
I say name names.
But when they look a little bit too, and you're like, wait, who am I looking at now? Well, let's name some of our things that some of mine have to do with socks. Some of my other complaints have to do with too long on a close-up of the pounding, the fucking, where it's just way too long on this one thing. And we get it. You're pounding this person, but like, move on to other... I'm a former editor. I still edit a lot of the video I put out. So a little goes a long way, and people's attention spans aren't very long. So you got to mix it up. The other thing I would say is about too long on one thing. It's pull back a little bit more, show a little bit more passion, I would say, before you get to the actual nitty-gritty hardcoreness of it all. What are some of yours?
So first, I want to say that Malibu says shaved dicks, which I totally agree with. And I love yours too, Steve. But the shaved dicks, woo. And Doug says music. The music in the pornos that just come out of nowhere. That is so annoying to me. And it happens mainly in like 70s porn, which I think is really hot. But the music comes out of nowhere. And then also, Doug goes on to say, they want to hear the moans and groans, which I totally agree with. But my personal pet peeve when it comes to porn is when they just jump into the sex with no context or no, I want to know how they got into bed. I like the little cheesy storylines that go on before they actually get into bed. Even if it's like the pizza man came and he's delivering a pizza, but he wants to deliver more, the actual sausage and things of that nature. But and also,
Not sausage pizza.
I mean, that's my favorite sausage.
Not
Sausage is my
chorizo.
favorite. Chorizo. Sorry. But yeah, also one other thing that really, really gets my goat in porn is when there's no chemistry between the two actors, and you can tell that one of them is not really into the scene. Either they're straight or what have you. And that right there is an instant turn off. I turn it off right away, and it's on to the next where they are actually into each other. That really gets me going. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. I think a lot of the OnlyFans stars these days are really doing a good job of combining real life and how it led up to this moment and how they got
Mhm.
this person into their mix. And so I think they're doing a good job of amateur porn with porn and getting rid of the silliness that is of yesterday porn. And so there's some really good amateur ways and OnlyFans, I would say, that are doing it in a really good way. I just wish I could get onto my OnlyFans account. It's just not recognizing my credit card. I don't know what's
What?
going on. I know.
Oh no.
But you guess what? Probably good because I'm not spending money on that right now, and I have other stuff to work on. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
True.
What are people saying?
People are saying that when Doug also goes on to say, oh no, Alan said first, sometimes they don't spend enough time showing underwear. He finds underwear hot and he wants to see it. I agree with you. I have an underwear fetish as well. Doug goes on to say, when both people are silent in the sex, it's really bad. I totally agree. And Bryce says, some OnlyFans stars need to wash their underwear. Wow, I was not expecting that. If ass, if ass is in the air, the underwear must be clean or clear. I'm not quite sure. I have scrolled away from that. I can't imagine somebody having dirty underwear in a porno or on video at all.
Well, let's keep it with Bryce since it doesn't seem like we're going to bring him on stage.
I
but
know,
we can
so
certainly
sad.
read what he asked, an advice question. And what he had asked was, can either of you enjoy sex if your partner is quiet? I love the moans and affirmations that they are feeling good. If I am silent, it indicates he's not hitting the spot. What should I tell a partner if it is an essential part of my sexual proclivities? So it sounds like Bryce likes sound, yes?
Yes. And moaning and groaning and verbal affirmation that a good time is being had.
Yeah, we've talked about this a lot on the show over the years. We've talked a lot about it with our co-host, our OG co-host, Jeremy Ross Lopez, who will be on next week. And, one of the things we've talked about when you live in major cities is that you have to always be careful of the thin walls that we live in places
Mhm.
like Brooklyn and Manhattan and Queens and so forth. And so sometimes I think we've trained ourselves to be quiet to
Mhm.
learn. Many of us over the years have learned because of family and family members to have to find time to enjoy ourselves in quiet settings, and we've learned to quiet ourselves. But that being said, I hear you
Yes.
when it's a good, I love sound too. I love verbal. And so I say if you're with somebody that isn't verbal at all, try and encourage it and
Mhm.
you talk. So what I've learned over the years about sexuality, chapter 4 in my new book. No, I will be writing a book at some point, you guys. But what I have learned is if you want something, you can elicit it in somebody else. So if you want verbalness in somebody else, you can actually be verbal and you need to then start the conversation. So
Yes.
if you're not getting something from somebody sexually in the heat of the moment, You need to start the conversation. You need
Mm-hmm.
to start the activity. I'm a former actor. The first thing about acting is action. You need to act. You need to move. You need to do something. If neither of you are doing anything, you need to be the one that instigates to start to do the thing. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, if you instigate, if you relegate it over the other person, you will elicit a response from your partner. It's the way human nature works. And so you need to then find a way in yourself to be that proactive person that starts the conversation, that starts the moaning, that starts what you want to elicit out of your partner.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say?
I
You like
agree.
chapter 4, a preview of chapter 4. You know I'm writing a book.
I'm gonna write the forward, okay? All right, all right. So I agree with you 100%. Everybody is different, so everybody has their learned sexual patterns that they have ingrained in them, and some people are quiet during sex, and that is okay. Now, if this is something that you need, like you said, you can start the dialogue by doing what you would like for them to do. However, if that does not work, literally ask for what you want. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. If that is something that you really enjoy during sex, and it's something that I enjoy during sex, ask them. Say, hey, baby, do you like this hot ass, or whatever, moan for me, daddy, or whatever. All of those things will work. And maybe even when you're not having sex, have a discussion about, you're a little quiet during sex. I was just wondering why. I kind of want to pick your brain about it a little bit. But these are all things that can come out. And I think that the more that you are open and you have a dialogue about sex, the better off your sex will be. I'm a very loud person during sex, especially when I come.
I mean, you're a singer.
It's true. I'm very kind of, meek and mild, and I have a soft speaking voice. But when I come, the neighbors know. I'm sure our neighbors. Well, yeah. I'm gonna stop right there.
No, I 100% agree with you. You've got to ask for what you want and put that out there too. I've done this with fetishes in the past, and 9 times out of 10, if you put that out there, most people will tell you they're into it or they're not into it. All you got to do is listen to any of our older shows, and you'll know some of the fetishes I'm talking about that I've asked for, and I've gotten exactly what I wanted in those experiences, and it makes sex so much more satisfying.
Oh yeah,
when you do that. And so that's our advice on that. We have somebody writing in, Alan, who says, or start the conversation by asking your partner what they want. Once they share it, it gives you an opening to discuss what you want. Plus, you will learn something new about your partner. I like that as well. Yeah. And, realize that sometimes people don't know what they want. And so you can try something new with somebody, but know that if you're not getting a good response from somebody, you got to read the room, the body language, check in with them.
Mm-hmm.
I am now at a point in my sexuality where I will try some of my fetishes, but if it's not read or it's not I could tell, this isn't their thing, then I'm backing off, because the last thing I want to do is have somebody not like what I'm doing to them.
Or make somebody uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
Totally agree with you.
I feel like I'm at a point now where I've been doing this for a long time. Gonna write a book, and
I cannot wait to read it, darling. I cannot wait to read it.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. I think we can move on to the next thing. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just finding the next one. Okay, this one came in from a recent Reddit thread, and I wanted to just get it's flirting and awareness. And they wrote on Reddit, "Hi all, I went to an event this past Saturday that one of the local gay bars was hosting. I thought it would be a great opportunity to go and socialize and meet new people. I was having a good time and tried to talk to some people, but most of the people seemed to be with their group of friends. And I felt awkward trying to strike up conversations with them. So I went to the bar to order a drink and I complimented one guy that I thought was cute and I attempted to make small talk with him. His friends came by shortly after I introduced myself to him. His friends seemed nice and I talked with everyone and I thought it was going pretty well. After a bit, I asked the guy I was interested in if he was single, and he said yes, blushing. I told him he was very cute, and if he could give me his number, I'd share it. We exchanged numbers, and I texted him. Looking back, I think I screwed up asking if he was single and that I came off too direct. He hasn't responded, and I'm sure he isn't interested in me. I honestly don't have much experience flirting with guys and want some advice and maybe how to break the ice better. This is such an interesting thing because we talk a lot about apps on how to. I'm more of an in-person kind of guy, and I really do think it comes to energy that you bring to the table when
Hmm.
you meet somebody. And I think rather than asking somebody's the latest thing, it's not even latest anymore, but it's just ask for somebody's Instagram and
Okay.
if I could follow you, I think, because you can DM them and it seems less threatening than a phone number. And
Mm.
also, if you're handling your Instagram right, if you're telling a story on your Instagram, they're going to look through it, you're going to look through theirs, and they're going to see a storyline of who you are, and they're going to see who you are. And so I do think it's the modern way of interacting when you meet somebody, but you really do need to see if they're interested by cues. And it's kind of a natural interaction that you see in
Yeah.
somebody. What are your thoughts on flirting?
I definitely think it's something that you have to feel out more so because I could say, "Oh, touch their shoulder," but that can come
Touch
off
their
as
shoulder.
I
Graduation? Congratulations.
If I touched your shoulder, you would
I
you would
would
fall in
think
love with me, okay?
my shoulder. I
Yes.
don't.
What do you want me to touch? Your dick or your ass?
I don't know,
No,
but
like I feel like the more that you engage with somebody and you show them that you're interested, I think the more that people are laughing at us and they think this is hilarious.
what's the graduation tune?
No, what are you talking about? The graduation tune. If you're
How
talking
does
to
it go?
somebody, if you're no, I don't know.
I
Okay,
don't
all right.
know. Right. It's been
I
a
was
long
thinking
time.
about Vitamin C. You remember that song? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, cut this out because this is ridiculous. So yes, if you're vibing with somebody, I always go for the part where I ask for if they would be willing to go out on a date with me because I think that the chemistry is there. I don't think that you can be too direct as long as you're not physically assaulting someone. You know what I mean? I think that touching their shoulder is just fine. And
Okay, let me just back up
yes,
why
let's talk. Let's
touching their
discuss
shoulder
this.
is like, hey son, you did
No,
a
I'm
great
talking about
job.
like this. Okay,
But
look, like brushing your hand on their shoulder, like gently, like, "Oh, you're so funny." Or touching.
okay,
Yeah,
let me just back it up. I just think eye contact is really big. If you find
it totally
yourself
is.
looking at somebody and they look back at you and you look, what you need to do is if you see somebody and you keep looking back at them and see if they reciprocate. If they reciprocate, you've got something there. Then you need to move on to plan B. But eye contact which is what we were all built with, is number 1 for Flirting.
Yes.
Chapter 5, my
number
upcoming
1.
book, Use the Eyes. The
Part 2
eyes.
is touching their shoulder by physical
There will
contact.
be no touching shoulders.
I'm gonna do it to you when I see you next, and I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna show it to you.
I don't even know what. You just
Like-
graduated.
like when you-
Congratulations.
When you laugh or touch their chest, or no, that's a
Oh.
little bit too far.
Ah.
Okay, I agree with you. I think that if you are having a good time and you're laughing with somebody, touching their shoulder.
What is Bryce saying? Quote, as we go on, we remember
That's
all the
the- that's the
times
graduation
we had together
song.
as our lives
As we go on.
And isn't it very like,
we
let me put your hand on
remember.
their shoulder?
No,
like-
not like that. Like just lightly graze their shoulder, and you have
Okay.
to touch
Let's just
them
go with
in
my
ways
upcoming
that
book
are
and
not.
what I'm talking about, because I don't think he knows what he's talking about.
I think there should be a
and-
chapter on shoulder touching. Personally.
Okay.
Thank you
Anyway,
very
that's our
much.
advice. We want to hear from you, but it's time for our final segment, and it's produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, where they ask the question. In this week, they asked the question: which one of these 12 gay porn stars took the best photo? It's our job to describe and vividly describe on an audio podcast on why we chose that one. There were so many good ones on this. I like that it was
Mhm.
only 12, but the one that I picked was the finale one, which was Braxton Cruz.
That's who I picked.
That's
Goodbye.
Braxton is wearing a Miami Heat jersey and sitting back with his his right arm up, and he's got a grin on his face. He also looks like he has a nose ring, and he's got a perfectly coiffed beard, and that dick is for days. It's got a thick head, it's a thick body of a cock, nice balls, and his quads look amazing, lightly hairy, ready to go. And I just love that grin on his face. He's very sexy, and I would just love to take care of him. Besides him, who did you pick?
I'm upset with you. You literally have every single thing down that I was going to say, except for he's my top crush, because I went to his socials and girl,
So
he
find
puts
yourself
it,
a bottom, bitch.
he puts it down. Braxton Cruz. Oh, whew, Jesus. Okay. All right. So I guess my second would be, and I don't have any notes for him, so we're gonna wing this. All right, get ready. Would be Brock Banks. It is a mirror selfie in a
I
bathroom.
love. He was actually my other favorite.
He is so hot. He's
Yeah.
got this beautiful uncut dick. He's got all these tattoos. The mirror selfie. He does need to clean the mirror and take those towels from the
Oh my
background. But he is adorable. He is one of my porn crushes because he's got an amazing ass. And he's my second pick for this week. I can't believe you chose the one I chose.
Hey. Well,
Hey, that's why you went first.
Doug says Ty Santana, and Bryce says Elijah Zane, and there's all sorts of ones for you to pick. We will post this on TAGSPodcast.com, reference episode 503. And when you do vote for it, actually click on, I think I'm going to do it right now, for my favorite, so that model actually gets, I'm
He's number
voting
3. Trust me,
right
I know.
now. And
He's number
Braxton
3.
is number 3. Yes. Okay. Vote for it because it helps the segment keep going on, and we love it. So we want to see this go through the end of the year. Oh my gosh, so much fun, Kodi. Thank you
So
guys
much
for
fun.
watching us live. Continue following us. You can follow Kodi. He's a life coach. Follow him on Instagram at KMD Coaching, or follow his personal account at Mr. Maurice. Follow me. I am _Steve V on Instagram. Go to the website, TAGSPodcast.com, for references for this show and everything else. And in the meantime, continue having hot, gay
sex.
Yes. Hi, Durant.
Yes. And let me touch your shoulder.
Oh, no touching a shoulder. Touching a